All right, let's talk about Brock Bowers, who, I think you could have argued could have deserved the Offensive Rookie of the Year award. I know Jaden Daniels was amazing as a rookie himself, and the quarterback position is notoriously a difficult position to play great at right away. But so is tight end, and you know what? We don't need to compare the two. They're both awesome. Let's talk about why Brock Bowers was just so electric this season. So many things he did are just things that you don't see tight ends doing. I don't mean rookie tight ends, I mean tight ends in general. This play, for example, starts off a very simple play, something you often see tight ends doing, of just running a route underneath, trying to get open against zone coverage. Okay, simple enough. Well, you're going to see that the quarterback Gardner Minshew on this play flips it to Brock Bowers, who, okay, you might be sitting here wondering, well, why even bring this play up? I mean, he just, gaining a few yards. This is a simple enough play. Well, no play is simple when Brock Bowers has the ball in his hands. Watch him just juke out that linebacker badly, and he's able to pick up a ton of yards right there. This is just what he was able to do. He's a difficult guy to bring down, and in fact, we saw the Raiders take advantage of that. So on this play, he's going to be running a jet sweep motion. He's going to be the guy who gets the ball right here. This is interesting because I was really shocked to see how often in college, when I evaluated him, how often you saw this happen, him getting the ball in his hands like in non-traditional ways because he was the biggest weapon for his college team. But in the NFL, I almost was just sure it wasn't going to happen. However, the Raiders said, you know what? He's the biggest weapon for our NFL team too. Why not get the ball in his hands? So, he's the one I've circled. Watch how they're going to flip, just hand the ball off to him right there. However, unfortunately, Cleveland kind of has this pretty well covered. They read it well. They're in position to make a tackle. And this is why you don't want to just hand the ball off to your tight end, right? Is because at least if you hand the ball off to a receiver, maybe they can run by the linebackers or maybe they can make a move. Well, Brock Bowers kind of runs like a receiver. Watch him just get around that first tackle, stays on his feet, and picks up a first down on a play that had nothing going. I mean, elite level wide receivers, you don't expect to be able to pick up a first down on this play, and Brock Bowers is able to do it. That just doesn't happen. And this is my point about why I liked the Brock Bowers pick when it happened. The Raiders maybe had more pressing needs or whatever, but the reality is a Brock Bowers-like player just doesn't come around much. So getting someone like him, it doesn't matter what your biggest needs are, he's going to help your team more than filling a need would. And hey, you can always use, a tight end, right? But also, they would use him in other non-traditional tight end ways. So yes, that last one, a jet sweep, that's very unusual. But even in the passing game. So here, it's man coverage, and they're just sending him out wide. Which okay, you do see some tight ends do this, but it's rare. It's not something that happens too often because it's essentially a one-on-one matchup. Watch as when this play begins. This time it's still Gardner Minshew making the throw up to Bowers. And worth mentioning, there isn't a lot of separation because it's Trent McDuffie who's covering Bowers one-on-one. But this is just it reminds me a little bit of Gronkowski in a way, where for Gronkowski, if you tried to put a linebacker on him, he would just run by the linebacker. But if you tried to put a defensive back on him, well, he's just too big. Now, Brock Bowers is 6'3", Gronkowski was 6'7", but still, watch what happens when there's a jump ball right here. Bowers is just bigger and stronger, and he's able to make the grab, so he can, beat defensive backs that way. Then he can run by linebackers and juke them out, as you've seen. So he's essentially a number one option. He is a guy who I treat like a number one wide receiver, even if he plays a different position. In fact, this one was a really fun one, I thought, so what's going to happen, I don't really need to break down the play and design and all that stuff, because just watch what happens. So when this play begins, it's Minshew who runs a play action, Bowers runs down the field, and Minshew, while under pressure, he's just throwing up a jump ball to Brock Bowers. And worth mentioning, this is week 5, so this isn't like we know Brock Bowers is this superstar level player at this point. But already, Minshew kind of knows throwing up a jump ball to Brock Bowers is a good strategy. And as you see, not the best job by that defensive player, by the Broncos covering him, but still, Bowers comes down with it and does good work in open space. Really, what he does in open space, the only two guys that come to mind, and it's unfair to compare Bowers to these two guys, but they're the only two guys that come to mind, are Travis Kelce and Rob Gronkowski, right? How Gronkowski seemingly took 4 guys to tackle him every time, and Kelce, can juke out even defensive backs in open space. Again, I'm not saying Bowers is going to be those guys, but he's already playing at an elite level. Again, he was voted best tight end in football. He was first team All-Pro as a rookie, a position that usually takes time to play well. I mean, that's just crazy. Like, this plays another example of just what he can do. It's sort of this all-out blitz. At least that's what the defense is showing right here, is an all-out blitz. And so the Raiders have a concept that can beat it. That's what they're going to do. Bowers is kind of in motion towards the top of the screen. You have a receiver essentially run a pick play, get Bowers the ball. Hopefully he can run forward and pick up the first down on 3rd and 9. Okay, cool. Simple enough. So when this play begins, Minshew takes the snap, flips it over to Bowers, and there's some room right here. There's a chance you could get a first down potentially, or maybe get close enough that you can go for it, because Raiders are down 11 here. Late in the third, might be go for it time. I don't know. But instead, Bowers just runs by the defensive back who cannot make the arm tackle there because Bowers, again, is bigger and stronger and gets a touchdown out of it instead. This is kind of the challenge with young players when you draft them, and I was very high on Brock Bowers coming out of the draft, but I get why some people might have been lower because he did this in college. There was the question of, will it work at the NFL level, right? Sometimes a guy can juke out everybody and break every tackle in college, but once you're going up against bigger and faster and stronger guys, it's tougher to. But Bowers still has shown, even against the best players in the world, he can still make them miss easily. But honestly, heading over to a play like this might be my favorite thing about Brock Bowers, is just the simple stuff. It's a 3rd down and 9, and I shouldn't say it's the most simple play in the world. Faking as though you're going over the middle, then going back towards the bottom of the screen. Okay, there's a little bit of a move here, but still, 3rd down and 9, one-on-one matchups. Can he just get open? Well, watch how at the beginning of this route, you see how he's definitely drawing that defensive player further in, and he's going to cut back towards the bottom of the screen. And watch when he cuts. I mean, again, look at just how open he is. Plenty of space to not just pick up the first down. He picked up another 15 yards after the first down. That was like a 25-ish yard gain on a 3rd down and 9. And that's just what he brings to the table and what he does for the Raiders and why he is such a valuable piece and was one of the slam dunks of the first round, which for the Raiders, that's a round they've struggled in drafting for a while. But you know what? Sometimes just getting the great player who you feel like is going to be really good, but just maybe doesn't play wide receiver or left tackle is still a good move, right? And yeah, I mean, kind of to answer the question I posed at the beginning of this video, should Bowers have won Offensive Rookie of the Year? I would have given him my vote because ultimately, Jayden Daniels was one of the best quarterbacks this year. He was like a top 5 quarterback. He wasn't the best quarterback. Brock Bowers was the best tight end. That's just kind of how I view it. Again, there were 2 amazing rookies offensively this year, so it's dealer's choice. I get it. But that's just how I view this. Obviously, a quarterback is always going to be more valuable than a tight end, but it's not most valuable Offensive Rookie of the Year. It's just simply Offensive Rookie of the Year. But again, either way, I'm sure Raiders fans are just thrilled they have a good player. So yeah, those are my thoughts on all of this. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from ya. And of course, as always, thanks for watching. Hey, thanks for watching to the end of that video. I do appreciate it. If you want to see my other channel, Jackson Kruger Movies, where I talk about movies, give some film reviews and stuff like that of a different kind, if that seems like your kind of thing, the link is in the description below for that, as is the link for my Twitter account. I'm at Jackson Kruger, so give me a follow on there if that's your kind of thing. And also, of course, remember to hit the subscribe button on this channel. I do always appreciate it, and thanks again for watching to the end of the video.